Welcome to Straight Out of Savannah, Talking with Tammi, a podcast that showcases people you may not know who are choosing to use their gifts to inspire and move the planet.
Hi, this is Tammi. What if you could live your life without being in burnout, without feeling stuck, without feeling extreme irrational fear, without living with autoimmune conditions, without living unfulfilled, without living in fight or flight, without being able to always be on edge, without living in freeze? What if that was possible for you? And one of the things that I do in my healing sessions is I help you to shift from these things into the next great version of yourself. So if this is somewhere that you've been living, then I would advise you to give me a call. Reach out to me. Send me a message. I'm Tammi Morrison all over all social media. My YouTube channel is Tammi Morrison. My business page on Facebook is Unleashing Your True Self. On LinkedIn, I'm Tammi Morrison and Unleashing Your True Self. You can reach out to me via email at Tammi, Tammi, unleashingyourtrueself@outlook.com. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us on Straight Out of Savannah. I am super excited to be here. My guest, Kelly Kikaz, is here. She is going to share who she is and what it is that she does. So, Kelly, take it away.
Well, thank you so much, Tammi. It is a pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm thrilled to be able to share my wealth of knowledge, personal experience in the sales environment with your audience, because most people on social media in 2023 are in some way, shape, or form trying to make money online.
Yeah, absolutely. So how did you get started on this journey? I mean, I know that you had to be, that there was a time that you were in sales. So get us started on how this transacted for you. Did you just like make a decision one day? Hey, I'm tired of doing this and I want to do this. How did that go for you?
Well, so I'm 47 years old, and since the day I was born, I've been a sales closer, quite literally since the day I was born. So even my kindergarten year, doing a little fundraiser for my private school, I was top sales rep. So
So that started your journey.
Yeah. So thank you, Mom. Okay, because I was a 5-year-old, right? But what my mom did is kept shoving me, out in front of people and just forcing me to figure it out, forcing me to figure out how to have human conversation over a product. And I was 5 years old, so I didn't know sales techniques and high level sales skills and high ticket closing and all of the things, of course, that I know today. I obviously didn't know at 5 years old. I didn't know that I was cute. I didn't know that that was actually selling it. I didn't know nothing, right? All I knew was I was very analytical. Both my parents are extremely intelligent and they have huge college degrees. I was a high school dropout because I'm an entrepreneur, little rebel, but my parents were extremely intelligent and educational. And that was the environment that my home was in. So when my parents shoved me as a human personality out in front of someone with a product in my hand, I showed up intellectually. And that's how I sold a lot. So by my, 7th, 8th, 9th year of grade school, oh man, I was looking forward to those fundraisers. Boy, I could not wait until fall hit and I could get that paper in my hand and I could go door knocking. And literally I hit up every single neighborhood in my entire town and I just loved it. just absolutely loved it and craved it. So it's only natural when I turned 16, I started telemarketing in 1992. And here I am at 47. I own Sales Top Producer Academy.
That is so amazing. That's a hell of a journey. So did you come from a family, like a big family, or were you only child, or?
A huge family, actually. I probably have, I don't even know, 170 on my mom's side, and like, I don't even know, 80 on my dad's side.
Kids?
So we, yeah, just, the whole family, right? The whole shebang, like,
I was like, dang, somebody got 170 kids.
My grandma was busy. Let me tell you.
Well, they have to work those farms back in those days.
Yeah. Well, making a baby is not complicated work. So
No. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, it is super easy to do that.
It is. Unfortunately, it's super easy to do. Yes. Yes. So anyway, no, so I did have huge families and upbringings and stuff, but in my home that I lived in the space that I lived in, it was just my mom, my dad, me, and my brother. So very intellectual household, very quiet and very analytical, very scientific, studying, reading the encyclopedia type house. Yeah.
That's funny you say that, because I was just telling somebody about my little brother. That was his favorite thing to do. He would read the encyclopedia if we were kids. And he's a little bit younger than you. So, we were pretty far apart, but he used to read the encyclopedia, and I was telling somebody, I was like, he was just like this super, super smart, geeky kid.
Right. I used to read the encyclopedia as well. So there you go. There you have it. I had a whole set, brand new whole set, the whole set and we had no technology or anything like that.
No, of course not in those days. No.
Yeah. Well, no.
I read our books.
Hold on a minute.
We couldn't just listen to them.
What do you mean those days? I wasn't born in the 1700s. Come on. I was born in 1975. I don't even think the man hit the moon yet when I was born. I think Elvis was still alive, but no, we had TV. It was just that it was, my parents were just very streamlined on the restrictions and rules surrounding the exposure to the mainstream media and the exposure to the society. So obviously much different experience than this whole thing, which is wide open to our kids unconditionally. And thank you, Lord, my kids are 20 and 22 because I don't have to deal with it no more.
No. That's what I say when people talk to me about it. I'm like, I'm just so grateful. Same thing with the pandemic. I'm like, oh no. They were like, did you have to homeschool your kids? I'm like, no, my kids are in their 30s. No, I didn't. And I praise God, and I pray for you people, because I know that I couldn't have done it.
Yes, me too. I know. The struggles today are real, man.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, back, from 1975 until, 1992-ish, 3-ish, really, my world was very monitored, tamed, controlled, by my parents. Like literally you could shut things off and turn things on. Phones were on walls. So parents could control the exposure.
Did TV still go off at 12 when you were a kid?
No, we were only allowed to Saturday morning. We were allowed to watch cartoons, I think, for 2 hours. Friday night was family night, and I can't remember what was on. Roseanne Barr was on Friday nights. That was part of our family time as watching television. That's really the only screen time that I had ever.
That's good. We fasted on Saturday morning, so we missed the cartoons. As you know, they were over at 12. And so we fasted until 12. So we couldn't watch cartoons often. There was a time, and then we would get to watch Batman when it came on at 4:00 in the afternoon.
Wow.
We would hope we got
Batman's
home.
Awesome. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Pow. Cashapp.
Yeah, exactly. He's saving the world. That's great content right there.
That was what we watched. Batman at 4:00 in the afternoon. And if you missed it, then you just missed it.
Yeah. Yeah.
that you had to, yeah. So we watched Batman at 4, but we missed cartoons on Saturday because we were fasting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting though, Tammy, because, even though I had that time that I was allowed to, I never really had the desire to
Gotcha.
oftentimes. So the TV would be on, but I'd be reading the encyclopedia.
I was gonna say, when you share that with people, do they look at you like, oh, poor thing?
No, 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 no. People today, actually, in my real life, I am a professional organizer, so I have literally everything in my
My
house. All
God.
has a use and a purpose.
Oh, that's a
And
beautiful thing. Maybe
yes,
I need to
and
hire you.
yes, I never, ever, ever have garage sales or closet cleanouts or donation days in my life. Never, 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 never. I make keep and don't keep decisions on point. So one of the,
That's a blessing,
it is a blessing.
because that's
Yeah.
what I'm doing right now. Like
Uh-huh.
this is
Yeah.
my space. I'm like cleaning
Uh-huh.
shit out and having, I've got a treadmill I'm getting ready to put on Facebook Marketplace because it's got to
Yeah.
go. But I'm
Yeah.
cleaning stuff out because I'm preparing, myself for this move that we're doing. We're building a house, and so
Uh-huh.
I'm preparing, and I'm like, let me
Uh-huh.
get stuff
Yep.
together and throw shit
Mm-hmm.
out, and
Yep.
it's a shame because,
Uh-huh.
just like you said, if we just could just, put
Mm-hmm.
everything in the place and decide that if it's here in the house, then I need it,
Yes.
then we don't have these problems.
Exactly. We
Okay,
don't have
go
these
on.
problems. Yeah. Yeah. So I, because of that being my exposure to technology and my personal experience with kind of higher intellectual thought, and the way that my
Mm-hmm.
mind was formulated and created, but then also combined with the fact that, we were social in organized organizations, and I attended a private school, it was a not-for-profit, which had fundraising elements. So all of those factors put together kind of, led me down this path. And when I turned 16, I started at McDonald's like every other 16-year-old. I was there for maybe 2 months, and telemarketing was like the most innovative thing on the planet.
Yeah.
So yeah, in 1992, it was the
Yeah.
most innovative everything. It was
I
controlled by,
remember that.
yeah, controlled by the feds. Everything was you could make a ton of money in telemarketing back then. It doesn't work that way today, but back then it did. For a number of years it did. It was hot, 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 hot. And the reason why it was so hot is because notoriously up until that point in our history of sales, American history of sales, sales reps were all outside sales reps, and they were mostly men.
Right.
And we were just having this conversation, Tammy, before we started here, but I am an introvert, and it's kind of
Yes.
hard to believe that a sales savage top producing closer is actually an introvert, but
Yes.
I actually truly am. And I look at being an introvert as I come from an inner introspection point of view, and being an extrovert, I show up from an extroverted point of view.
Yeah.
So, there's two different types of sales that I look at. There's a couple of different ways to describe this. One is there's dirty sales and clean sales. One is there's fear-based sales and faith-based sales. And I'm pretty sure we can all understand the difference between the two. One is fear-based control tactic filled with lies, deceit, false promises, fake show ups, all this emotion, all this excitement, but no results, zero ROI. I have so many conversations, unfortunately, with business owners that have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on promise programs. I mean, it's just mind blowing. I had a conversation the other day with a young lady that was $50,000 in debt. And she was, the day of our call, she was actually giving a credit card number to the next guru to sign up for the next $9,000 program. And she thought, oh, I really liked your content. I really want to meet with you. I really wanted to discuss this. I really wanted. And I said, good, put your damn credit card away, go get yourself a job, dig yourself out of debt. And when you're ready, hit me back up.
And you know what? Okay. So how many people in your position would actually do that? for a person instead of just, taking their money and they're not ready. And
Yeah.
that's something that really bothers me, and it bothered me, and because I see it so much. It's like, oh my God. And one thing for me that made me know I can't throw another penny at nobody else until I get myself ready. You know what I mean? I can't, because you can throw money all over at all kinds of people, but are you going to get the results if you are not at the space where you can?
Yeah, you
So,
definitely mindset is a massive, massive part of
heck
this
yeah.
whole thing.
Yeah.
So, I created a series called SM 2022, and actually, see if I can share. Oh, can you share your screen disabling or disable this, able the screen
I
sharing?
have let me see, idea how to do that. I've never done that. Hold
If you
on,
go
wait.
down to share screen, there's a little arrow and
Okay,
it'll
try it
allow
then.
others. Okay. So just for mindset purposes here, these are all of my mindset principles at STPA. So
Nice.
Kick, Sam, PMP, and Pick are just, I'm obviously not a mindset coach. I'm a sales strategist, but mindset is a huge part of it. And people that come in sometimes have to have a little bit of mindset stuff. So these are just analytical ways to fix your mind, to get yourself in a position to scale up or level up or make a lot of money, to make a big life transition. These are just analytical, and they're
Mm-hmm.
all based on behavioral, because isn't our day-to-day behavior activities, that's what creates our life.
Yes.
So this is all behavioral. So my clients, as they're going through the process, things are happening real fast, right? And they're just like, oh my God, I can't, this is so exciting, I can't, well, which way do I go? Okay, let's go slow and methodical, right? Sam, right? And I teach based on mind speed. So Sam puts your mind at a 5 at all times. That's where you're balanced, right? Emotionally, you're balanced. So
Right.
10 is extreme stress, 1 is at no stress. But for the sake of just how's your mental health status doing at this moment in STPA, I'll ask, what is your mind speed at right now? Because I can see the racing, I can see the, right? And that's where
Yes.
burnout happens. That's where overwhelm happens. That's where
Yes.
you make a whole lot of money, you go spend a whole lot of money, and then you're just dead for a month and a half.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're not at Six Flags Great America riding roller coasters here. We're in business, and business is only numbers. So business is only it's a strategy is all that business is. And I think that a lot of business owners, they get all wrapped up in the passion, and I want to help people, and I want to solve people, and and all of that is wonderful. Yeah, I get it. But
Yes.
are you doing a hobby,
Right.
an emotional distraction?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you actually running a business here? Well, it's one of the three. It can't be all three all at the same
Right.
time.
Right.
If it's a hobby, there's no money exchanged ever, and you just really enjoy being a free therapist for 10 hours a day, that's wonderful. Don't be afraid to call that out, because if you don't call that out, you're a manipulator yourself. You're a liar yourself. So, or if it's an emotional distraction, maybe you got some things going on in your personal life, which is so normal. I just want to call this out to anybody watching this.
Yeah.
If you got shit going down in your personal life and you're an entrepreneur, you're in the right place. Welcome. We're all crazy.
That part.
Just saying.
Just saying.
Okay. If I was a W-2 employee in a factory for 35 years, then I probably don't have a whole lot going on in my personal life, right? I mean, I probably got some Jerry Springer show going on up in my personal life if I'm an entrepreneur. So yeah, it's okay to say that, it's okay. It's what makes us human, right? We're not going to deny facts. We don't have to hear about all your dirty details. It's just, it's okay to say, yep, that would be me. I got shit going on. Okay. I'm trying to figure out, right? So
Trying to get
all
it
good.
straight.
I'm just trying to get it straight. Right. Exactly. So anyhow, I think that mindset plays a huge part in our business journey.
Mm-hmm.
But we overwhelm this concept. And I think the problem with that is, and the reason why coaching was born in 1992, life coaching was born in 1992, and its direct competitor was professional therapist. And I think the reason why is that people don't want to submit. They don't want to give up. They don't want to surrender. But
Yes.
yeah, but it's a part of the process.
Yeah. 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 I can see that because in the work that I do, that is one of the first things that I work with people on is what do you need to surrender? It's the first thing in it. And I didn't realize, to be honest, I didn't realize that it was a thing
Oh, it's
until,
massive.
I started doing more, more clients and, and I was like, wow, that is a thing. And that really is a thing. And so the first thing is, what do you need to surrender? What
Massive.
is it that you're holding on to that you need to release? And a lot of times it's people need to release people. They need to release situations. They need to release the past. And I
Yeah.
know that in the work that you do, I'm sure that that has to be a part of it.
Well, I'm analytical though. Remember, I'm a scientist.
Right, right. That's right.
So I have in front of me all numbers. You can't see them. Nobody can see them because this is a camera. so,
Gotcha.
y'all can't see my scientific take over the world plan that's hanging up on the wall.
I was thinking about the movie where they had the numbers all over the wall.
Yeah. That's what it looks like up here. Yeah, sure. No. No, but you guys can't
so
see
cool.
this. But I will read some of it to you. So my word, it's actually over there on that wall. My word of 2023 is scientific reasoning. It's huge. It's in bright red and it's bold. Okay. You have to choose what is your focus going to be right now. If you want to get to here in 5 years, 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, whatever, you got to choose right now. What am I focused on?
Right.
Am I focused on pleasing people? Am I focused on just giving all of my time and all of my energy and all of my everything to everyone else around me and nothing to myself?
Right.
What are you focused on? So that has to be the first part of the surrendering process is you got to let go of what you're focused on right now that is not in line with where you want to be 6 months from now, 1 year from now, 3 years from now, 10 years from now, 12, whatever. It has to be in line with where you want to be. And where does that start? Well, it starts right here in the mind.
Mm-hmm.
So, and of course, it's a popular phrase, out of sight, which is our eyes, out of mind, right? That's a popular phrase, out of sight, out of mind. Well,
right.
Isn't it logical that if we flip that script, which is an SM 2022 strategy step, by the way, that's a sales technique, is called flip the script. So if we flip that script and say, well, if it's in my sight and it's in my mind, I need to have control over it.
Yeah.
So scientific reasoning is over here. Here is the month of May. My mantra was positive driven results. I have all of my company's goals and numbers and statistics and all these things. Some of the words are DM reach outs, social media content focus, branding, follow-ups. There's other things that I've got going on. STPA is actually a multi-level marketing company, by the way. Then I've got our company values, beliefs, and all kinds of stuff on the next wall over here. And then I've got 2 quotes from years ago, which have just followed me along. If he brings you to it, he will see you through it. And don't put a question where God puts a period.
I like that.
Yeah. So these are things that I look at all day long. So my belief system, it's huge and it's in blue and everybody sees it. I am dynamic. I am free. I am fluid. I am brilliant. I am self-controlled. I am leveraged. I am driven. I am humble. I am satisfied. I am electric. I am happy. You don't think that that's going to have an impact on how I behave socially in sales?
Yes.
You don't think that's going to have an impact on whether or not I'm doing dirty sales or clean sales?
Yeah. Because I like the story that you shared about the person that talked to you. And I would love it if you would share that here, because that, to me, that speaks to your authenticity, that speaks to your values, because a lot of people wouldn't have done that. So share that story here about the person that reached out to you and
Yeah. So I had I call them action calls. Some people call them strategy sessions. Some people call them discovery calls. Some people call them consultations, whatever your word is. I hopped on a Zoom with somebody. So
right.
Yeah. Somebody somewhere. And she was a health coach, weight loss coach, health coach. And she was $50,000 in debt. And that afternoon, that appointment that I had with her was in the morning. And that afternoon, she was scheduled to hop into a high ticket type of video module, group coaching, worksheet, AI. I don't know all the elements, but it was all there and it was going to make her rich. Anyway, she was going to hop in there that afternoon, take out another loan for $9,000 and buy that program. And she was so angry at me. So angry at me on that call.
Wow.
Very, very angry.
Now, why was she angry?
Because I tell people the truth. You asked. I talk.
Well, the thing is I truly believe that she would have had to appreciate you later. You know what I'm saying?
She did. And I have no problem working with people for free. So I have no problem whatsoever. If you show up unconditionally and I can change your life, I'm not money motivated. So I just read you my belief system. That's what motivates me. So I know that this other wall here with all the numbers and blah, 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 that stuff will come. That's kind of like when you bake a cake, okay, there's a certain amount of flour, specific measurements, a certain amount of flour, certain amount of sugar, specific measurements, certain amount of vanilla, right? There's a certain amount of baking soda, butter. There you go. Butter. What else? Baking soda, baking powder. I don't know. Yeah. But either there's, one. So there's ingredients, right, to bake the cake. The cake is that 95% of the sale is emotions. That's the cake that you have to bake right there. You have to be in charge of that cake. You have to be in charge of your own head and your own emotions. So 95% of the sale is emotional. And then 5% of the sale is like the icing on top of the cake. And that's the money part. So if you pay attention to the ingredients that are going inside of your cake and you make sure that your cake is on point, because if the recipe calls for 2 cups of sugar and you put in 12 cups of sugar, how is this going to off balance and offset the entire sales process?
Yeah, I love that analogy because that tells you, even if you're not a baker, you know that 12 cups is too much if it called for a cup or 2 cups.
Right. And then by the time the icing comes around, you're sick. I don't want icing. I don't want money. Because you've literally dumped 12 cups of sugar into your cake. Stop doing that to yourself. Stop doing that to yourself. Yeah.
Oh, that's a powerful analogy. When you think about that, it's like, wow, oh my God. And then you think, what, do I do that?
Well, here's the thing that I do know, Tammy, is you probably do, and that's okay because we've all been there. And you have to, the reason why you would hire someone like myself is to come in as a strategist, as a kind of like a school teacher, as an accountability person type of individual. Get away from these whole, what I call strategy step, SM 2023 from my strategy step is called tchotchke words. I specifically instruct on what are emotionally triggering tchotchke words. And an analogy for that is, let's say it's 2:00 in the morning, there's 4 feet of snow on the ground outside, you're cozy, all snuggled up in your bed, and you're on your social media, and you keep seeing Nachos Bel Grande commercials for Taco Bell. And how did you get out of a warm bed, get yourself dressed, put on snow boots, shovel off 4 feet of snow of your vehicle, let it warm up for 20 minutes, and drive to Taco Bell to buy a Nachos Bel Grande? How did that happen?
My God, how did that happen?
Exactly. And that is social media marketing and influencing.
Wow.
So
that is a thought.
Yeah. So how do you motivate to have that, what we call leads on autopilot situation? You gotta really know how emotions work. And it has to come from a position that is is silent and still and methodical, like you would experience if you were trying to become a doctor or trying to become a lawyer. You kind of have to show up to university in that capacity. Like, okay, a doctor and a lawyer, what do they earn? $350,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year, right?
Well, it depends on,
whatever, depends,
Yeah.
right? Obviously, yeah. But you're all up in my face saying, I want to earn $1 million. And you think that you're not going to have to attend a university just like a doctor or a lawyer or anybody else? You've got to show up slow and methodical like this. You've got to show up dead serious like this. You've got to show up as a child like this. You've got to show up emotionally vulnerable like this. You've got to show up open-minded like this. And I love what you said. The first thing I do with my clients is, what do you have to sacrifice? Because that's spot on. Once you lay down that first sacrifice, which is always the hardest one to lay down, guys, always the hardest one. Once you lay that first one down and you see the amazing results that it brings to your life, there goes the next one. There goes the next one. There goes the next one.
Yes.
And then before you know it, they're being replaced and replaced and replaced. And some people will say, well, that's God. That's manifestation. That's God. No. You made a conscious decision to do it.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, what I find is that people are so comfortable with giving away their power. It's like, no, I did this. They're so comfortable with, that's God, that's manifestation. And you know what? It could be those things. However, you had to do it, right? It's like, okay, my God, right. Yeah. Because you didn't just sit there and pray. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You did some things.
Yeah. Exactly.
You made some choices. You did some things. You shifted some things. You switched some of your beliefs and all of that. Because what I find is that people are so comfortable holding on to their limitations and their limiting beliefs, and they will fight you for them. Oh, I can't. Oh, you know what? I had somebody talking to somebody, and I said, I said, just because your mama was diabetic don't mean you got to be. You don't, doesn't mean it. It doesn't mean that. Oh, no, it runs all through my family. So, I'm going to have it and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, well, if that's what you want to do, you know what I mean? But it's not something that you have to do.
Well, she's obviously enjoys 12 cups of sugar in her cake. She'll never, honestly, that point blank, that's a great analogy, because she'll never, ever, ever experience licking the icing. And the icing is always the best part, especially when it's buttercream.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God, girl. I love buttercream. It's like,
but if you put 12 cups,
to do.
But if you put 12 cups into the sponge part of it and you eat that, you're like, I'm sick of sugar, right? And the icing comes across and you're like, yeah, and you're gross. Yeah, exactly. So let's say if there's 24 hours in one day, hypothetically, let's say there's 24 hours in one day. 8 hours of that 24-hour time period is spent sleeping, right? You're supposed to get 8 hours of sleep, right? 8 hours is maybe spent working in some capacity, right? Making money, right? What are those other 8 hours dedicated to? Right there is where you need to put your focus first. And you have to pay attention to what these things are doing. I own these things. Do I own this? No. You know why? It's because it's an object. It's a thing. It could be missing in action in 20 seconds. So why am I so concerned over this? You know what I own? I own these.
Yes.
I am 100% in charge.
Yes.
I mean, short of someone else coming over and chopping it off for me, I am 100% in charge. Okay.
Yes.
So I don't own this, and I don't own this, and I don't own this and this, and the house that I purchased and live in, and my bedroom, and my stuff, and my car, and mine. Excuse me, you don't, because when you're dead, ain't nothing going with you. You know what's going with you when you die? These are. So let's pay attention to these, shall we? What are you doing? That. Yeah. What are you doing in those 8 hours? So if 8 hours is sleep, 8 hours is making money, work, whatever you want to call it, in whatever capacity, whether it's W-2, captive 1099, independent 1099, business owner, whatever it is, whatever capacity it is, we all need money to pay rent or mortgage, bills, etc. So everybody's making money. You can't deny that. So whatever capacity you're making money for 8 hours a day, and then the final 8 hours, are you spending 5 hours every single night methodically sitting in front of a television?
That is awesome. That is powerful. I know you guys are enjoying this because I am. All right, so we're gonna start, landing this plane. So what I want you to do is I want you to share something that will help maybe somebody that's looking for the type of work that you do. So share something, for them, and then also share where people can find you and what you're looking for, that kind of thing.
I think the best place for me to educate you on free social media is on my YouTube channel, on my TikTok channel, on my personal Facebook feed profile, and in my business Facebook feed. So if you search any of those capacities, you can also find me on LinkedIn, on Twitter. I am across other socials, but YouTube is an educational platform. TikTok is somewhat of an educational platform. It's just very fast. Facebook is very, very, very deep. And I spend a lot of time in educating content, developing, creating content. I go live all of the time. I teach nonstop all the time. So if you're really serious about your sales success and you don't have any money to pay for a sales coach, I have $3,000, $5,000, and $9,000 programs. If you can't come out of pocket and afford that, then I would strongly advise you to start getting dialed into some of my content. So you can search Kelly Kikaz, Kikaz. I am in DeKalb, DeKalb, Illinois. Search that on Facebook, and you'll find my personal Facebook profile. I always DM. I joke around that my DM is open like 7-Eleven 24/7. Yeah. And then Sales Top Producer Academy is the other keywords to search across socials as well.
Okay. And so just share a tip for, somebody that is, on that journey, that's trying to, build their business, or maybe that person because it looks like you come across a lot of people that have done all these crazy coaching programs and what I call it is throwing money at the problem and not knowing what the problem is.
Be quiet, be still, and go spend time in nature.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. See, and you and I hadn't even talked about that. And that is what I've been doing. And that was what I shared with you. I was like, you know what? I'm at this place where I'm introspecting right now. And I can't, I'm not at a space where I need to be listening to other people. I need to be listening to me and to my higher self and to God and source and universe and all these things. And I need those things to come right now at this season in my life. And so I'm so grateful to you for not only coming on the show, but being so real and so authentic and sharing things that people need to hear. And the part that I love is that, you are not, even though you are a big ticket sales producer, I feel like you also are at this place where you are so authentic that when you work with people, they want to be there, they can be there, and you consider that part, because a lot of people don't. You got all these pushy ass coaches that come and they want to push, and and that's not always what we need. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't need to be punished or motivated. You just need to be taught. If you've never sold anything in your life and you want to sell right now, I'm telling you, selling is equivalent to being a doctor or a lawyer or an attorney. We make more money than they do.
Yeah. And this is true. And this is true. I've actually seen that.
Yeah.
I actually met a guy that was a chiropractor, and he was making more money on YouTube and TikTok than he was in his chiropractic.
Right.
I thought, wow.
Sales is the number one most highest paid position in the history of the world. Sales is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is so awesome. All right, so we are going to land this plane. I am so blown away, and I of course take notes because I'm a writer. So I took notes, and I got some amazing nuggets that Kelly has shared. So if you got those kind of nuggets, I would love it if wherever you're listening to this, well, especially if you're watching it on YouTube, if you would drop us some comments and share, about, how you felt about some of the things that she shared, because it was such an amazing, 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 amazing show. I know I say this about every one of them, but I feel this about everyone. But if you are watching and you are loving what you hear, make sure that you Google her and you find her in the socials. Also, I will be dropping all of her links and stuff in the show notes so that it'll be easy for you to find and click on her. But she is an amazing resource, and I am super excited that she's in my world. So if you want her in your world, you know how to find her. Go and find her on the socials. You can Google her. I'm sure that she is Googleable. I usually check it, but today I forgot. But she is. I know that she's Googleable, so you can find her there. If you would like to come on Straight Out of Savannah, if you are changing the planet, I would love for you to come on Straight Out of Savannah and share about it. So again, thank you so much for joining us. It's been such a good show. It's been amazing. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe if you are watching on YouTube. And if you're listening on any of the podcast platforms, because this show is going to air on Spotify. It will also be on Apple and Google and Listen Now and Radio Breaker. It's on iHeartMusic and iHeartRadio and Amazon Music, and many, many other platforms wherever you listen to your podcasts. So definitely check that out and make sure that you are downloading. And I'm super excited for everyone to listen and to hear and to watch this show, because this is amazing. And if it's something that Kelly can do for you, make sure that you reach out to her. Again, thank you for joining.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye
for
now.
having me. Okay. Bye, Tammy.
I know you've been blown away with the amazing value here today. Now go out and inspire the planet. And be sure to send us a message when you're ready to come talk about it on Straight Out of Savannah, Talking with Tammi.